everybody. Welcome back to Game Night Date Night in collaboration with Games and Couple, which is part of Oshrat Online Counseling. They concentrate on couples counseling, utilizing a lot of board games in their counseling session because they discovered that this was a great way to put the Gotham principles into practice. One of the things that they've done is they've created a rating system to help couples select games that would suit their needs. Now, keep in mind, 1 is not bad, 5 is not good. It really just depends where you are as a couple. So the first thing that we're rating on is conversation and connection potential. How much opportunity is there to hold a conversation while you play the game? Some games are very much I do my thing, you do your thing, which actually can allow a lot of conversation, while other games have so much going on that you're busy, there's stuff going on, there's no time to just hold a conversation. There's also getting to know you. How many opportunity is there to have like intimacy within the game? How much will you discover from your partner? As I mentioned, some games we do separate things, so you're really kind of concentrating on yourself. They're concentrating on themselves. While other games, there's a lot more interaction, and you're working together more. So there's that, or maybe working to get in each other's way a little bit more, which brings me to the last one, which is potential for hurt feelings and conflict. Depending on how the game you play, some of them have very little interaction. You do your things, nobody can really mess with it, while other ones, there's a lot more take that element to it. And if tensions have been high, things could flare up easily, so you may want to avoid that. So every week on Games and Couples, we talk about a game of the week, and I try to have a theme every month. So for the month of April, I decided to kind of do it on spring, and spring-like board games. And it's funny because I'm recording this today and we have snow, so spring has not sprung just yet in Alberta. Or we thought it was beautiful, but it changes so quick. So snow today, hopefully it all melts away very quick and we get our spring again. But the first game that I talked about for the month of April was Maple Valley. And this is actually a second game from the trilogy that was created by Roberta Taylor. And actually last couple of days, I want to say last week, me and Roberta hung out together and I got to try the prototype of the third one that's going to be coming. So be sure to keep an eye out for that one. But Maple Valley, first of all, let's talk about the rating on this one. So conversation, connection, potential, I'm going to give this one a 3 out of 5. There's a lot of things you want to consider, kind of plan what you're wanting to do. So you may not be having a full-on conversation as you play the game because you'll be busy doing things. This is a hands-on game, but there is definitely opportunity to host conversation as you're playing. Getting to know you, I'm giving this one a 3 out of 5. Because basically what this game is, you'll be moving your character from location to location and just trying to activate different things and collect different resources when you land on those different locations. So it's fairly it's fairly straightforward, as into they're going to be collecting resources, and with those resources they're going to try to get cards. So it's kind of a clear path as to what everybody's going to try to do, but there's a lot of different, are they going to go for this or that? So I'm putting this one mid-range on the getting to know you. Hurt feelings and conflict, I'm giving this one a 1 out of 5. Now, with these type of games where you land on a location, get to activate it, worker placement type games, what can be very frustrating is that the other player blocks you out. But with Maple Valley, that is not a thing. You can be multiple players on the same location. The only thing that could get is you're hoping to get a card and they beat you to it. That's really the only conflict that can happen in this game. But let me show you. First of all, this is the box. Artwork is adorable. In all of this series, actually all of Roberta's games so far have just been super pretty. And the components are amazing. So now I do have Kickstarter copies. That's one I got. But the artwork is just adorable. And then this is the first one that kind of got me decide to do the spring theme, because I was also thinking like Easter at the beginning of the month, and then like we had this little bunny here, so I was like, this just works. And then you have like your little paw print, and each character have their own little paw print, that you'll be kind of placing depending on what you activate. You have the different resources that are just so adorable. The artwork on all of the cards are super cute. Um, so this one is really, really well. It's really fun too, like because you'll be um kind of building your deck, and it's kind of you're gaining friends, so you're getting more friends. And so of course the artwork is adorable, but that will also kind of show the symbols on the corner will show which route you can go on. So this one, it's the starter one, you can go on all three. So you have like the waterways or the wooden path, or if you go down the forest trail, like you can go on all of those ways. And then as you're going through them, some of the locations you'll see on the board, there's like a little token. Some of the locations going to give you something when you take that path. Once you arrive at the location, each location has a different thing they can do. Either you can collect resources, or you can trade resources, or you can acquire friends cards, or different things like that. And then the little worm is like the first player marker. Super cute. I really enjoy this game. It's and it plays really different from its previous one, which was that's a creature comfort, because creature comfort was with dice and worker placement, while this one is more like with the cards, and you're moving across the board, like kind of you're not going to make it from one end to the other. You got to make your way there, so it's more of a route, not route building, but route following. Just great game though, so definitely give that one a try. Next one was Topiary. I played this one and I was quite impressed with this. So it's very puzzly. You're trying to create this grid. Well, you start with a grid that's face down, and you'll be flipping them up and then kind of trade it in and trying to create this topiary where you have like all these shaped bushes, I guess, like carved bushes, and but you're trying to create the best view, and you're going to create score the view. Now for the rating, conversation, connection, potential, I'm giving this one a 4 out of 5. Because on your turn, you're going to pick a tile, and then you're going to place the tile in the spot that you've vacated with anyone in your hand, including the one you just picked up. So it's kind of fairly straightforward. Pick one up, put one down. So because the decisions are a little bit simpler, I find it's easier to hold a conversation as you play the game. Getting to know you, I'm giving this one a 2 out of 5. It's very luck driven, so it's not one that's going to reveal tons and tons about your partner. Hurt feelings and conflict, I'm going to give this one a 2 out of 5 as well, because you're trying to create the best view for your meeples, and another player could come along and put this big bush that blocks everything, so you only see the one now, and that totally wrecks your score. So that's something to consider in this game. There might be a little bit more, but otherwise it's just place a tile, take a tile. So that's the only thing that could kind of create conflict in this game. But it could be frustrating if that happens. And let me show you the box. So first of all, the art on that box is just super cute. And then you play the game, and you have your grid, and then you place your meeple on the way you want them to face, and that's what. Now you can also go diagonal or straight forward, and you just kind of place them around, kind of looking around the grid you're creating. Now, one thing I want to point out that I am super impressed with this game is the meeple. So you have, every player has a different meeple, different shape, and they actually have a wheelchair little meeple in there. And then this is the first time I came across a board game that was inclusive with a wheelchair. So I thought, that just stood out. That's something I truly appreciate, and it made me appreciate this game even more for that. Now, the next game I talked about during the month of April was Power Plant. Oh my god, I love this one. This is another KTGB game, like so was Maple Valley. And one thing I'm going to say about them is they make games with amazing components, amazing trays. Everything is organized so well. It's great. Now, keep in mind, this one, my copy also is a Kickstarter copy. I think the retail copy would come with cubes instead of these shaped little meeples. And I didn't realize that. I just came across pictures where there was cubes everywhere. So keep that in mind. component might look slightly different. But so with power plant, conversation, connection, potential, I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 5. Now, your decisions matter a little more and you have a little bit more to consider, but I think there's still plenty of opportunity to hold a conversation as you play. Getting to know you, I'm going to give this one a 3 out of 5. It's interesting to see what they're going to try to do. I'm sorry if you guys can hear the motor revving because my husband is working on bikes in the garage and I'm right next to it. So hopefully you don't hear too much of that, but if you do, that's what's going on. So getting to know you, I'm going to give this one a 3 out of 5. It's a luck of the draw because you got the 2 tiles you can pick from, so you're kind of limited your choices between this one or this one, but then where do you place it and do you activate one of the, because when you place your tile on this garden, each plant have a different ability, and there's multiple abilities for each plant depending on what got drawn at the start, and you have these tiles across, so you might have to refer to those tiles often for what the abilities are. Be prepared for that. But you have the choice of placing a tile and activating that tile, or placing a tile and doing a lower action on all the other tiles that are touching, so you would activate all the other tiles. So you could, activate 3 or 4 different abilities instead of just the one, but it's not going to be quite as powerful in his ability, which is where the you might get a bit more kind of trying to figure out, so it might take longer to figure out what you want to do. There's a lot to consider. Hurt feelings and conflict, I'm giving this one a 3 out of 5 because this is an area control game. You are battling to have the biggest cluster of plants and have the most of your own little wooden meeple bits on there so that you have the most control. So you're going to mess with each other and you're going to remove some of the stuff that other players have worked on, so be prepared that could rub elbows with other people. Now the box is so interesting. I really like how it looks like it's like a big plant, but it's a fly eater plant, so it's kind of like, it looks kind of evil. But this game, like I said, I think it is so beautiful. The tiles are nice, thick wooden tiles, and the way that they fit with each other is so interesting. And as I mentioned, I have the upgraded components, but then the little wooden bits, all different shape. And I didn't notice that at first, but each player has like their own shaped meeple as well. I think this game just looks so great. The decision you're making in it is so interesting. I am a huge fan of power plants. And then the last one that we talked through during the month of April was Three Sisters. Now, I don't oftenly play roll and writes. I don't know why. And it's I own a few of them and I'll play them once in a while, but it's not a game type of play that I tend to gravitate to. But I played this one and I was quite impressed. This was my first time playing it, and I ended up playing it with Roberta Taylor as well. So conversation, connection, potential, I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 5. You'll roll the dice, you place them on that little board there where the different action that can be activated with the different dice and the different numbers on it, and then you'll kind of take turns drawing a dice that you want to activate. And then you'll get to do something on the 2 sheets that you have. So it's it's kind of like, okay, I'll pick this one so I can cross something off over here. So it's fairly quick and straightforward. The decisions are simple. So you can hold a conversation as you play this game quite easily, in my opinion. Getting to know you, I'm going to give this one a 3 out of 5. There's a few decisions. Will I pick this? Will I try to activate this? When I go to the shed, am I going for the tractor? Or do I want the seed spreader? Or there's a lot of interesting choices as to what you're going to activate in the different area. But the choices are fairly simple anyways. Hurt feelings and conflict, 1 out of 5. You are working on your own sheets. The other player are working on their own sheets. The only thing is you're drawing dice that might take something you were hoping for, but then you can spend manure, I believe it is. Or is it compost? Compost. So you can, almost same. It can be used the same. But you can spend compost to manipulate the value of the dice. So even if you were really hoping for a 3 and it took the 3, You can manipulate the other die so that the 4 could be turned into a 3, but then they might take a location you were hoping for. That's kind of the only thing now where it could get in the way, so it's quite mild, and I don't anticipate there'll be a lot of kind of, you know, fights that turns from this game here. But here's the copy or the front of the box. It's a, like, it's not a super big box either. And this is the game kind of all set up. So you have the 2 sheets. Now, they had laminated ones. This wasn't my copy. I don't actually own this copy. They had laminated ones, but they didn't have dry erase markers. So we ended up just using the sheets. But there's quite a bit in there, so you could play quite a bit of time before you would have to worry about running out of sheets. But it's not a bad idea to laminate these kind of games. The dice are super adorable. You have them like the purple swirly material. They look super cool, and the one is a pumpkin, so that's super cute. And you're basically kind of growing things, so you'll be growing beans and corns and pumpkins, and then you have your perennials that you'll be growing as well, and then you have the fruit area of your orchard, and then there's the shed portion where you can kind of build things that will give you abilities or that'll give you points or the different things. And what gets interesting is you can, like you'll be activating one thing, like the perennial especially will be like, hey, you can cross this one off. Perfect. Now it allows you to go and plant a pumpkin somewhere. And then when you're planting, there's also like rain. Which field do you pick to get the rain? And then everything's going to grow by one level. So it's like, okay, great, I'm going to grow here. It's like, oh, but now everything's grown here. So I don't want to rain here anymore, except for that one plant that's, so interesting. And then the first player marker has that little pumpkin, the wooden pumpkin, and then you have your little farmer that kind of indicates the action that the dice are going to go on. I was very impressed with this one. It was a lot of fun, simple to play, simple to get to the table. So Three Sisters was definitely a great one. So that was it for the games that we showcased during the month of April. So be sure to follow us on Instagram. My Instagram is Mel's_boardgame_room. And we also have Games and Couples. On Facebook, my Facebook page is Mel's Board Game Room. And we also have Games and Couples, Love in the Age of Board Game. And YouTube channel is Mel's Board Game Room. And then Games and Couples, Love in the Age of Board Games. Bye, everybody.